Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to a brand new video series where I'm going to take stories from mythology and folklore and I'm going to summarize them using only the 1,000 most used words and words that are just different versions of those words. Numbers don't count. Hyphens, I'm going to pretend don't exist because they will make my life very difficult. And I'm not letting myself use names because I hate myself, apparently. Sometimes this is gonna make stories a lot easier to follow, and sometimes it's just gonna make them way more confusing, but we're gonna have fun with it and see where it goes. So on to the story. God of making people want to bone and extra pretty human lady. There was once a place where there lived a man who wore a metal circle and sat in a special chair, and he had 3 daughters who were known around the world because they were so beautiful. Now the youngest of the 3, who we will call extra pretty human lady, was the most pretty of all the pretty daughters, and so special chairman's people decided that she was as good as a god, and they started giving her offerings. Now this made angry the lady god of love who used to get such gifts. Now this lady is often shown standing on broken open clams, scallops, because she rode one out of the sea when she was born. So I'm going to be calling her Soft Fish Boy Killer Lady, because I can.
Dear God, he's gone mad with power.
Now extra pretty human lady told people to not give her gifts as if she were a god, but they did not stop, and so Soft Fish Boy Killer Lady stayed angry and decided to show the humans that their extra pretty human lady was human, by having her killed, as gods do. Now, Soft Fish Boy Killer is above killing humans, but it's okay because she had a son, who is the god of making people want to have sex, and so we will call him Bone Boy.
And then there's Cupid. We don't like to talk about him.
I should have just done Eros and Psyche, but Cupid ranks better, and I thought they would be the same, but we're here, and it's too late to turn back. And so she sent Bone Boy out with his wooden half-circle love bringer, as well as the pointy sticks it throws. Some stories say that he was to kill the extra pretty human lady, but others say that he was to make her fall in love with a terrible creature. And so he went to the extra big stone house and quietly walked past the guards, found the sleeping room of extra lady, and went in. He walked to the bedded seat on which she was sleeping, prepared to make her quite sad. But a piece of light from the moon fell upon her, and Bone Boy saw her beautiful face and was taken by surprise. Stepping quickly back, his skin was hit and broken by the sharp end of one of his own pointy sticks, which was meant to make people fall in love. And for a time, he watched extra human lady sleep. But then he slipped away into the night, saying he would never kill something so beautiful. And so morning came, and Soft Fish Killer saw that extra human lady was not killed, and so she came up with many ideas to make the girl's life very sad. And the girl did end up being quite sad, and so she decided to end her own life. So she climbed a mountain, planning to throw herself off it. Cause you know, death by mountain, that's a good way to go. But Bone Boy was following her and called out to the north wind and asked it to carry her away. And so she jumped and was carried away. And before she could tire of this strange as hell way of traveling, she was being put down in a beautiful garden with an extra big special house where soft voices and people she could not see took her and cared for her. When darkness fell, Bone Boy returned and told extra pretty human girl that he loved her and he wanted to be joined with her. In the darkness, she could not see his face, and he told her that if she were to try to see his face or learn his name, he would be forced to leave her forever. But hearing his kind and soft tones, she agreed to be joined with him. Insta-love, apparently not a modern book problem. And so they enjoyed each other's company into the night, and come morning the boy left, promising to come back when darkness had fallen again. And so many nights passed, but though extra pretty human lady enjoyed her time at night, she felt alone during the day. And so she asked her lover to bring her sisters to her so she might see them again. And wanting to please her, he agreed. And so the sisters were brought to the garden, and the 3 talked for a long time. But extra lady's older sisters had always wished to be extra beautiful, and now they wished to have her strange lover and gardens and extra big special house. And so because they could not have these things, they decided that she should not either. And so they told her that the reason her lover did not want to be seen is that he must be a creature so terrible and very much not pretty that she could not love him if she saw the truth. They also said it would probably eat her, as bad creatures do. And so they told her to hide a light and a knife and look upon him as he slept. And then they left. Those lady dogs. And then remembering the story Extra Lady told, the two sisters went and jumped off a large mountain, hoping to get special things as their sister had. But they were not extra pretty, so they just died. Apparently smarts doesn't run in this family. Back in the garden, night had fallen, and so Bone Boy had returned and fallen asleep. Quietly, Extra Human lit her light, raised her knife, and walked up to her sleeping lover. The light fell upon his face, and she found that he was just a beautiful boy. And he was so beautiful, her brain became quite small, and she leaned over him and a drop of hot light-making water dropped onto his shoulder. He woke, as one does when someone drops hot light-making water on them, and he saw her and knew what she had done. And so he flew out the window, shouting at her that there is no love without sight-free trust and that he would come to her no more. When Bone Boy went into the sky, the wet and warm winds stopped and an extra bad storm started, and it was so angry that Extra Human Lady did not want to stay alone in the extra big house. So she hurried into the garden where she fell into a sleep because she had too many extra feels and she could not even. When she finally woke, the storm was gone and so were the extra big house and gardens. Now, Extra Pretty Human Lady was not a strong, able woman who didn't need no Bone Boy, and so she just laid there for many nights hoping for Bone Boy's return. But then she got bored or something, and so she decided to kill herself. As one does. Gives a whole new meaning to being bored to death. And big brain girl that she is, she thought the best way to do this was to jump into a big river. But of course, because this is a story of old, there just so happened to be a wet god who caught her and took her back to land, where his daughters, the lady wet ones of the river, brought Extra Human back to life. Forced to live, she then left to look for Bone Boy, stopping everyone to ask about him. She asked the spirit girls, she asked Kitchen Food Hot Maker, who is actually god of mountains and wild cloud cats and stuff. And then she asked Tiny Earth-like Rock Lady, who is the lady god of caring for dirt-born food babies and growing them into food makers. You remember when I said that sometimes this would simplify stories and sometimes it would make them a lot more complicated? Yeah, Ceres. Her name is Ceres. Yeah. So Earth-like Rock Lady had heard that very morning that Bone Boy was having a skin hole fixed by his mother. So she told Extra Human Lady to go to Soft Fish Boy Killer and enter her service because she knew that this would lead to Extra Human Lady finding Bone Boy. But Soft Fish Boy Killer gave her very hard jobs that it seemed she could not finish. First, Extra Lady was led to an extra big pile of food babies so young that they were still hard. But there were many different kinds all in one pile that needed to be sorted. But a lot of very tiny animals came to help her, and even though the tiny bite-happy hillmakers have their very own extra pretty animal lady who they serve, they stopped to help Human Lady. For reasons.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Next, she was told to go get the yellow metal hair of the angry wild cloud cats by the river, which was too hard. But then the river grasses told her to gather yellow metal hair from the sharp, tiny trees at the river's edge. Some versions of the story say that it was river spirits, but big brain river grasses is way more funny, so I'm going with that version. Next, she's told to get waters from the dark river of many sticks. Now, this river did not have any water dads to offer help, nor did it have any real sticks. But it did have rocks that looked like they would very much love to put holes in her skin.
Let me see what you have!
No! But just as all seemed lost, a flying sky animal came down, took the glass bottle from her, and filled it with river water. Because reasons. So then Soft Fish Boy Killer told her to go down to the underworld to get a box of beautiful making face rub that only the lady god of spring could make. So our extra human goes down to the underworld, faces no real problems, gets the box, and leaves. But when the doors of the underworld close behind her, in the big brain way that she is, she decides to just take a little fingerful of that beautiful making rub. Because, you know, it's not like Beautiful Life brought her nothing but pain, and it's not like she's already the most extra pretty human lady that ever did human. And it's not like Soft Fish Boy Killer Lady is a horrible, murderous, angry god lady. But you know, let's get some of that face rub. But surprise, the box didn't have rub in it, but instead the spirit of sleep, who jumped upon extra pretty human lady, and she fell asleep right there in the road. Then Bone Boy just happened upon the road, because reasons. And he saw Extra Lady and was filled with sad and memories of his love for her, and so he fought the spirit of sleep, and then he woke Extra Lady with a kiss, because of course he did. Then hand in hand, they flew to the big Mountain View house of the gods. How did they fly hand in hand when she was just a human, you are probably asking? The answer is yes, and no, I don't know, because symbolic, I guess. So Bone Boy showed his extra human lady to all the gods, and said that she was to be tied to him forever in a special party, and all the gods said that they'd go to the special party. And then Soft Fish Boy Killer full on f***ing forgot all her angry feels, don't question it, and accepted Extra Pretty Lady, who then lived happy for the rest of always. Oh, and some of the very many forms of this story say that for her and Bone Boy's extra special party day, God Thrower of Pain-Making Skylight gave the gift of God power to Extra Pretty Human Lady by letting her drink God-making water. And the end! And story breakdown time. Cupid is meant to represent love and Psyche is meant to represent soul, so I guess the moral of the story is that soul doesn't have to work for anything and love will just take care of her. And so the most important thing is to just keep love around so it can keep soul alive. Is that poetic? Is it dumb? I don't know, you tell me. So that was it for this video. This is in the pilot episode phase. So if you want to see more of this, engage the hell out of this video. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.